Few video game characters embody larger than life quite like Mike Haggar. A professional wrestler turned mayor, Haggar first burst onto the scene in Final Fight back in 1989. Muscles, suspenders, or suspender, and a trademark spinning lariat weren't just for show. He was the kind of mayor who literally threw himself into the ring against Metro City's criminal underworld. But Haggar isn't just a beat-em-up hero. His story stretches far beyond Final Fight. From his early days as a champion and mentor in Capcom Slam Masters, to countless cameos across the Street Fighter universe and beyond. He's part civic leader, part folk hero, part walking meme. A figure whose legacy rivals that of Capcom's greatest icons. Let's spotlight the pile-driving legend of Mike Haggar. From the ring to City Hall. Mike Haggar first appeared in Capcom's Final Fight. Born in 1943, he's described as a former Street Fighter and former professional wrestler who traded the spotlight of the ring for the responsibility of running Metro City as mayor. And his favorite food is burgers and curry rice. When it comes to the franchise, Mike Haggar is the one constant. He's the only protagonist to be playable in every entry of the series, from the original arcade classic to Final Fight 2 and 3 on the Super Nintendo. Haggar always stepped into the fray. Even as the series experimented, Haggar remained front and center. He showed up in Mighty Final Fight, the quirky 1993 spin-off with super deformed chibi-style characters, and even in the one-on-one fighting game Final Fight Revenge. And when the franchise made its final attempt with the ill-fated Final Fight Streetwise, Haggar was still there, albeit only playable in the game's arcade mode. Life before Final Fight. Haggar's early career was explored in Capcom's Slam Master series. Translation issues would muddy his story somewhat, however. In the original Japanese, Slam Masters takes place before Final Fight, serving as Haggar's wrestling past. But when the game was localized into English, all references to it being a prequel were removed. This version would even go so far as to describe Haggar as the former mayor of Metro City. Canonically, however, Slam Masters is indeed set in Haggar's past. There, he was shown as a wrestling champion, already respected enough to mentor rising stars like Biff Slamkovich and Gunlock, who may be related to a famous Street Fighter. Haggar eventually signed with the Capcom Wrestling Association and formed a tag team with Alexander the Greater, calling themselves the Knuckle Busters. Protective Father. Speaking of Gunlock, Haggar's mentorship of him didn't end well. Gunlock developed a reputation as a ladies' man and twice hit on Haggar's daughter, Jessica. Haggar punished Gunlock on the spot for the inappropriate advance. Gunlock, however, was unapologetic, claiming, "This is my way of showing courtesy to a young woman." Needless to say, it didn't do much for their friendship. Big sprites, small memory. Haggar's walk cycle in Final Fight comes with a quirk. His upper body doesn't animate at all when he moves. Akira Akiman Yasuda explained this was a memory trade-off. At the time, there was a shortage of ROM chips, and large playable characters meant huge data costs. To keep Haggar's sprite big and imposing, they sacrificed upper body animation. The result? Haggar's stiff statue walk, all a part of his charm. Inspirations. From literature to manga. Haggar's design didn't just come from the world of wrestling. Akira Yasuda cited influences as varied as Victor Hugo's Les Miserables, specifically Jean Valjean, who later becomes a mayor in the story. And the violent manga Mad Bull 34 was also an influence. Its lead, John Estes, nicknamed Mad Bull by criminals, was a burly, violent cop whose presence loomed large over every scene. His blend of brute force and civic duty echo strongly in Haggar. Wrestling roots and real-life parallels. Of course, Haggar still owes a lot to the wrestling world. Some fans compare him to French wrestler Paul Pons, a Greco-Roman legend from the late 19th century. Others see clear nods to Don Fry, wrestler, mixed martial artist, and actor, who even played Haggar in the Final Fight fan movie, The Broken Gear. There also seems to be a connection to Macho Man Randy Savage. In Slam Masters, Haggar is nicknamed Mike Macho Haggar, and one of his victory poses has him lifting Jessica onto his shoulders, very similar to how Savage hoisted Miss Elizabeth upon his. Another potential influence could be Stan the Lariat Hansen, famous for his devastating lariat move, which may very well have inspired Haggar's spinning lariat special. The Politician Pipeline. Haggar's career shift from wrestler to mayor may have seemed wild at the time, but real life hasn't been that far off. Jesse the Body Ventura became governor of Minnesota in 1998. And Kane, yes, that Kane from WWE, is currently mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. And long before either of them, Abraham Lincoln himself was a skilled wrestler, once defeating the leader of the Clary's Grove Boys gang in a legendary match. Haggar, it seems, stands in good company. Haggar's rock band connection. During Final Fight's development, many characters' names came from 70s and 80s rock bands. Haggar's name is believed to be a nod to Van Halen members Michael Anthony and Sammy Hagar. Put them together and you get Mike Haggar. From Final Fight to Street Fighter, Mike Haggar holds a unique place in Capcom history. He's the only Final Fight character to make the jump into the Marvel vs. Capcom series, appearing as a fully playable fighter in MVC3, Ultimate MVC3, and MVC Infinite. In his MVC3 ending, he becomes the President of the United States, with Tony Stark as Vice President. Captain America and Chris Redfield pay him a visit and show concern for his well-being. In MVCI, Haggar is the mayor of New Metro City, a fusion of Marvel's version of New York City and Capcom's own Metro City. Haggar is kidnapped by Umbrella and nearly transformed into a symbiote-infused bioweapon. He's freed when Chris Redfield, Spider-Man, and Frank West infiltrate the lab, though he initially mistakes them for his captors before realizing the truth. Teaming up, they battle Nemesis and even help save Spider-Man when the symbiote briefly takes him over. After Ultron Sigma's defeat, Haggar returns to Metro City and resumes his duties as mayor. His appearance in these games is ironic, really, considering that, unlike Cody, Guy, Mackie, and Lucia, Haggar has never been a playable character in Street Fighter. That said, he certainly made his presence felt through cameos. In Street Fighter Alpha 2, he appears in the Metro City stage, holding Thug J in a headlock. He also pops up again in Alpha 3's Metro City stage. In Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, Haggar is mentioned in Hugo's ending if the Giant teams up with Elena. It's revealed that Metro City's mayor has formed a tag team with Black Widow from Ring of Destruction Slam Masters 2. He shows up multiple times in Street Fighter 4 too. His statue can be seen looming in the skyscraper under construction stage, while the bonus car stage includes a billboard featuring the mayor himself. He's also present in Cody's prologue on a poster alongside Cody and Guy, captioned, "The heroes saved our city." And if that wasn't enough, Haggar bursts out of a false platform in the Mad Gear hideout stage. In Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, Haggar is woven even deeper into the lore. He officially exonerates Cody, and even passes the title of mayor to him. Cody's assistant Marlowe then brings up Haggar while reminding Cody of his mayoral responsibilities. Haggar shows up again in Lucia's character story, warning her that Mad Gear is plotting against the current mayor. He also gets to step back into the ring, cameo style, in both Zangief's and Armika's arcade endings, where he and Nadeshiko are shown tag teaming against the pair. And during Street Fighter V's run, Capcom's own activity reports jokingly pointed out that Haggar's absence as a fighter at least means he's never been a villain. Unlike another wrestler, Zangief, who was often painted as one in earlier media, or simply assumed to be one because of Cold War stereotypes. By the time we reach Street Fighter VI, Haggar's legacy has been cemented. In Metro City's urban park within World Tour mode, a full statue is dedicated to the mayor who wrestled crime into submission. And Haggar's cameos don't stop at Street Fighter. He pops up in Alex's ending in the much maligned Capcom Fighting Evolution, and briefly in a cinematic trailer for the also maligned Street Fighter X Tekken. He's also a support ally in the crossover tactical RPG Namco X Capcom. Interestingly, Haggar was scheduled to appear as a playable fighter in the cancelled Capcom Fighting All-Stars, which would have marked his first step in a 1v1 fighting game outside of Final Fight. But that honor instead went to Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Haggar and Zangief, brothers of Spin. One of the longest running fan theories around Mike Haggar is his connection with Zangief. The two share more than just muscles and face hair, both wielding the devastating spinning lariat and piledriver. The roots of this theory go back as far as the Super Nintendo manual for Final Fight 2 and Saturday Night Slam Masters, which listed Haggar's profile as including a spinning piledriver, something he never had in the original Final Fight. Fans quickly noticed the overlap with Zangief's arsenal and started to speculate. Some believe Zangief may have developed his style after watching Haggar in the ring. Others imagine a friendly rivalry, each trying to one-up the other with bigger, flashier moves. The comparisons only grew with fan creations, like this meme of Haggar pile-driving a bull shark, which mirrored Zangief's training regimen of wrestling bears. Capcom themselves leaned into the connection in Street Fighter IV, where Zangief was given an alternate costume based directly on Haggar's iconic look. Whether rivals or distant inspirations, the two grapplers are forever linked in the minds of fans. Haggar outside the ring. Mike Haggar didn't just stay confined to video games. He muscled his way into other media too. In the US Street Fighter cartoon series, he stars in an episode loosely based on the original Final Fight. His daughter Jessica is kidnapped by the Mad Gear gang, and Haggar calls on Ryu and Ken to assist in the rescue mission. True to his character, Haggar doesn't just sit back. At the climax, he literally kicks down Belger's office door and throws himself into the fight to save his daughter. He's also made appearances in Udon comics and the 2018 Final Fight fan film, The Broken Gear. But wherever he appears, Haggar's presence always comes with that unique mix of brute force and moral conviction. A wrestler who refuses to stand on the sidelines when action is needed. Whether you know him as the mayor of Metro City, a pro wrestler with unmatched strength, or just the guy with the suspenders, one thing's for sure, Mike Haggar will always stand tall as one of Capcom's most memorable heroes. And that's our dive into the pile-driving world of Mike Haggar. If you enjoyed uncovering these bits of trivia, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more fighter trivia spotlights, and share this video with your fellow fighting game fans. And if you'd like to go the extra mile in supporting the channel, consider joining my Patreon. It helps keep these golden nuggets of info coming your way. Keep on being excellent to yourselves and one another, and I'll see you in the next spotlight.